The second winning series is a unique sports program that probes into the often controversial world of professional and amateur sports. Sports View Today.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sports View. I'm Ron Cameron.
The Prophet, right?
Oh,
Ron
yes.
Cameron, the Prophet. How old was I going to be when the Pistons finally won a game in Boston Garden, pal?
65.
65.
I was right, wasn't I?
I'm still 30 years plus away from
30
65,
plus?
I'll
Look
tell
at
you.
Freedom's laughing like hell at
30
you.
years
the guest
plus
is
from
laughing like heck at
65.
you. 30 years plus.
What happened to your heroes?
30 they're not
what
my
happened
heroes.
to your main hero,
Hey.
Larry Bird, the
Yeah.
greatest basketball
Okay,
player
just
who
shut
ever
up.
lived?
Just
All right,
shut up.
I've got to do the sponsors.
Just shut up and I'll
then
tell you.
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Our
You see
sponsors
if I'm in
on
trouble.
the program today. Al Dietrich Oldsmobile, and Uncle Al still has those super lease deals on select 1988 Oldsmobile models for your busy corporate executives like
Give
Mr.
the location
Cameron.
for a change, will you?
M59 in Waterford.
And Airport Road. Let them know where it is.
Well, it's not exactly on Airport Road.
Right
but
by
it's
Airport
relatively near
Road.
there. Right.
Yes.
Good. We also have Harry Keefe, Joe Oshoni, and the folks who bring you Shooters, one of many fine night spots they've got for you around Metro Detroit. We'll tell you all about them coming up. We'll probably also tell you a little bit too much, more than you want to hear, about Sports Fans Journal.
Well, listen, don't hand me that stuff. The only time you tell you too much is when I tell him he's out of there.
Cameron's in his element today because he has two columnists for Sports Fans Journal sitting right here on the set with him. I'm desperate. I need the money. Frieder's desperate. He needs the publicity.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
okay, now, yes, Bill Frieder's one of the writers, and we've got a whole bunch of new writers for you, and we've got all the same old writers. And besides that, if you want to subscribe, dial this number 24 hours a day, 350-3530. It's a great paper.
We've got Joe Zimmer, not Don Zimmer, and all the folks out at Zim's Entertainment Center off the
He looks
Baldwin
like
Road
Don
exit.
Zimmer.
No, he does. He's much younger and better looking than Don Zimmer. Did you know, by the way, did I ever tell you the story about, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but did you know Don Zimmer had to wear girdles in the locker room? Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
This guy is so fat that he actually had to wear a corset.
Which Zimmer are you talking about now?
Don Zimmer.
Don Zimmer.
Joe Zimmer looks great. A corset to get into his baseball uniform to go out on the field.
You're just saying
it was
that 'cause the
embarrassing.
advertising looks
and let me tell you something. When he took that corset off in the manager's office after the game, it looked like Shamu the whale, man. The blubber just rolled out of this thing. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that. But anyway, Joe Zimmer, yes, we're happy to have Joe here.
What are you trying to
we
say?
have
Get on, Bill, would you?
TK Seafood Grotto, Tom Kelly and Company, a great place you should try at 10 Mile and Southfield Roads in Southfield. We have Pass, the Pro-Am Sports Systems, the Chester Boot Shop, John and Peter Giannopoulos, and the folks who bring you Giannopoulos on the Grill. And among our sponsors today also, we want to welcome a new sponsor, Dennis Krieger, and the folks at Frankie's of Dearborn on Chase Road between Warren and Ford. For all of you hockey fans, great spot to go and talk hockey any time of year. You'll have a lot to talk about, and everything's gone down with the Red Wings recently and the end of the NHL season. But first, my boys, as I have told you all year on this program, did win a game in the Boston Garden.
But what you did not say
Is
just a minute. I do the talk and then you comment that Boston will win a game in Pontiac. I'll tell you something, and you know these media people just get me sometimes. They're talking about great games, both the first two. Both teams played terrible. Both games, I thought.
I wouldn't say that.
I think they both
Terrible?
did. I think that they played below below their capabilities.
Maybe.
Both of them. And
At times.
I thought the games were exciting, especially game two, one of the most exciting games that I've seen, even though it was poorly played. The Pistons won one, maybe they shouldn't have won, and yet they lost one they should have won. They should have won game two. Larry Bird had
They should
bad
have
off
won
nights
both games.
nights. He had off nights, and they're just saying, here, Pistons, you take it. The Pistons did not execute down the stretch, and they missed some key free throws, and they blew the game.
Anybody who understands basketball, which precludes you here,
Which
of
knocks
course,
off most
which
of the people in this
precludes
town.
would look at the matchups here and understand that the Pistons are going to beat the Celtics, if for no other reason, on the strength of the bench alone. Did you see the bench scoring in Game 1? How about 33
Oh,
to
yes.
4?
Listen.
And Chuck is coming in with Sally and Rodman and VJ did a terrific job in Game 1. And here comes 40-year-old Artis Gilmore waddling off the bench with his cane and all the rest of these guys. Mark Akers? Give me a break.
I'll tell you this. Yeah, the bench is definitely a favor for Detroit, but you still win it by your 5 starters. And if Robert Parrish had not fallen asleep in Game 1, the Pistons would have lost Game 1.
I think that the Pistons...
You get out quick by James Edwards, something's wrong.
I think you also owe James Edwards an apology.
James
you
Edwards has
said
played
James
well.
Edwards was, quote, a dog when the Pistons got him. This guy has played his
He
rear
has played.
end
That
off.
doesn't say he's
yes,
not a dog.
He has. How can he be a dog playing the way he's playing?
A dog can rise to the occasion
Oh,
sometimes.
is that right? I see.
But James Edwards has been a very mediocre player, but he is hitting that outside jumper and doing a nice job for
I
Detroit.
think the Pistons have been terrific in the first 2 games, and let me tell you something. Now,
They played hard.
You're not going to see guttier performances anywhere than by Bill Laimbeer and Ricky Mahorn. These guys are hurt. Laimbeer's got a pulled muscle. It limited his effectiveness in Game 2, and Rick Mahorn has had those back problems throughout the first game.
Okay,
He's still
now,
playing
I
hard.
think this. If the Pistons hold on to their home territory, they're definitely going to win the series because they got the home court advantage now. But if they lose a game here, they're not going to go back in the Boston Gardens and win another game. And I think it's going to be, and it's a hard-fought series, and I think this is going to go down right down to Game 7.
Regardless of who's going to win what particular game, I stand on what I've said since last summer. The Pistons will beat the Boston Celtics in this series. They will advance to the NBA championship.
And you said they beat the Lakers.
and
You
they
said
will-
they beat Houston. He said he
and
picked
now
Houston.
they will beat
This guy picked
and now
Houston
they
in
will
the
beat the
finals.
Los Angeles Lakers
more said you
and
wanted
win
Houston?
the NBA
Where's
title.
Houston, Bob?
See what Akeem said last week? There
Yeah,
are
he
big
wants
problems
every-
down there.
yeah.
Akeem says
Well, he's
Sleepy
one of the
Floyd and Joe.
problems.
Oh, I don't think so.
I think he is,
or is
too.
it right? Well, then maybe they'll send him here.
Oh, I'd love
I'll
to
take
have
him here.
Oh, I would too. But I'm saying he's one of their problems. He shuts up. He got to shut up and play the game.
Ronnie, by way of contrast, I think we've all really enjoyed watching the NBA playoffs, the Boston-Atlanta series, the Pistons and everything.
Good
by
matchups,
By way
I
of
think.
contrast, great ball games, exciting, and here you are. You flick the channels and you put on CBC and ESPN, and we are watching 2 teams in almost June now skating through the fog in Boston
Yeah.
Garden. It's so bad you can hardly see the game. They interrupt play time and time again, send all the players out to skate around, dissipate the fog.
These people know that.
We
You have
see
to
the
go through a
lights.
story
We
on the
see the
court.
lights go out in
Yeah,
Boston
yeah.
Garden in the middle of a Stanley Cup final game.
that was good.
We see them cancel the game
The
and
Boston
go out to
Garden's
Edmonton.
older than you are.
All I'm saying is, to me, what the National Hockey League has staged these last couple of weeks is going to reinforce the notion that some people have around North America that it is a Mickey Mouse league and
Well,
a
it
Mickey
doesn't look
Mouse
too good.
sport.
I'm not going to argue with that. The Boston Garden, though, is always, it's been going downhill. That's the first time they had a light problem in 60 years. It's the same
Yeah.
system. You can't get
I
rid of it
understand
in
that.
60
I
years.
understand that. It could have happened in the Celtics-Pistons
Sure.
game. But the fact of the matter is it did happen in the NHL game. You take that and the fact that all these guys are wearing helmets, as closely as you follow hockey, you'd be hard-pressed to name 8 guys who play for the Boston Bruins. They had guys skating out there I never even heard of before, and I think the average
I
fan
guarantee
feels
you
the
they've
same
never
way.
heard of you either.
That probably is true, Ronnie. Probably is true. But I'll
I
still.
don't think they wanna hear
But I'll
of you
still be.
either.
But I'll still be working in this business when they're out selling insurance or selling ad space for sports fans.
Yeah, but
Journal
except
someday.
for one thing.
Now,
Except for, hold on. Just shut up a minute. Where's your paychecks coming from now besides this paper and the show? And both of them I got you into.
I want to get. You got me in a lot of messes too, Ronnie.
I got you out of a lot of messes too. That meant for me. Let me tell you this before we finish.
We gotta get to Bill Frater.
Hold on, you will in just a minute. That meant for me, Bob Page should be digging ditches right now.
And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, it might be more fun than working with this clown on this television show.
Well, you've had more fun than doing this. What did you just say the
At
other
any
day?
rate.
Hold on. Didn't you say the other day you've had more fun in this than
That's
you ever
right.
did in your life?
I want to get to Bill
Shows
Frater.
what kind of life he's had,
I just
doesn't it?
want to. I just want to say one thing now. A guy that you and I both like very much and respect very much is in the news, and we have lost. I think you'll agree with me, a measure of respect for him. How the hell, contractually or not, can Brad Park come forward to the Red Wings and demand an additional $100,000? He's suing the Wings in Oakland County Circuit Court for an additional $100,000. Why? Why, the bonus money that he was due under his contract should the Wings make the playoffs and get to certain levels. The only reason they're there is because Jacques Demers did the job, and here comes Parkey, who's already being paid by the Wings through 88, demanding bonus money for the playoffs.
Well, if it's in his contract, you got to go
Bush
get it.
League. Bush League.
Except that one thing, though, I'll tell you something. You do the same thing. It was in your
I
contract.
don't think I
Of course,
would.
you don't have a
I
contract.
don't think I would. If I were making $300 and some thousand a year to sit on my tail.
No, he's not sitting on his tail.
Well, he's getting paid by the Wings.
You know what he's doing? What he's doing now?
Running a Little Caesars.
That's right. So they got him that too.
Mike Ilitch may rescind that.
Yeah,
franchise.
I would think so.
Bill
yes.
Frieder is here on Sports View today. We have much to talk about with the Wolverine coach, and this is one of his favorite stops every year
Oh,
on
it
this
sure
program, I think, and we'll be back with Freeze.
That in Sports Fans Journal.
I don't think so.
I
Right
know
after
so.
this.
I know so.
What's the problem, lady? Where's your husband?
I don't need this.
You don't. Let Uncle Al's Army come through for you.
Yes, ma'am. No problem. Coffee?
Uncle Al's highly trained Army attacks general and major repairs on your private vehicle in a personal way. Tanks.
No, thank you.
Uncle Al, crushing the competition and high-cost service with the respect you deserve.
L. Dietrich, Oldsmobile, GMC Truck in Waterford.
If you're a sports fan, you should subscribe to this, Sports Fans Journal. For just $15 a year, you can read columns from George Kell, Ernie Harwell, Jim Northrup, Dick Vitale, Don Cherry, Bob Feller, Bill Frieder, George Allen, Eli Zarrett, Larry King, and many more, as well as features and profiles. For more information, call 24 hours a day, 350-3530. Sports Fans Journal is also available at local newsstands and bookstores and is sold at Tiger Stadium souvenir stands.
Why is Zim's totally unique in Michigan? Because we have so much to offer, beginning with bowling. Great summer prices, only 25 cents per game during the day. Softball is back with 14 tournaments this summer. We have over 60 video games. The dining is terrific in Zim's restaurant. Zim's has 3 bars, pool tables, and 12 large satellite TVs with sports all the time. If all this isn't enough, top off your evening at Club Zim's, where the fun begins at 9 o'clock and goes till 2 a.m. We have drink specials with a DJ and dancing 7 nights a week.
Throughout the years, Giannopoulos has meant a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But today we're concentrating on our restaurant food business, and today we're one of the finest restaurants in Michigan. A new feature that we have in the restaurant is the grill, that we char grill all our fresh seafood and our ribs. We're very proud of the fact that we get a lot of the major sports celebrities throughout the country in our restaurant for the
We're back on Sports View. Wolverine basketball coach Bill Frieder's here and sitting back and enjoying everything in the summer.
Enjoying what? The guy's as usual, frenetic, running around worried about his next appointment in 15 minutes. I gotta go. He can't enjoy life at all. 17 days, Ronnie, he just spent in Europe with the basketball team. I said, Frieds, how was it? He said, it wasn't that good. You're the only guy I know who could go to Europe for 17 days and not have a good time.
You said stronger words than that. You said it stunk in Europe.
It was miserable.
Why was it miserable?
I don't know. You know, the accommodations aren't good. The food isn't any good. You know, and I'm dealing with a basketball team, too. We played 6 games over there. So,
Speaking of dealing, you're not dealing anymore in Las Vegas,
No,
are you?
no.
They don't allow you there.
I haven't even touched that since I've become head coach.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't know what you're talking about, but you at one time were a serious blackjack player. When you were a starving, underpaid assistant, you used to make business trips out there and clean those casinos out. They barred you, didn't they?
Well, you know what? Again, you kind of get negative publicity over that, but it seemed to me it's funny that people can go to Vegas for 4 days or 6 days and lose money and brag about it, and they're heroes. But if some guy sneaks in there and wins money and he's a card counter or something, what's wrong with the guy, you know? But yeah, when I was an assistant, I used to go out there a few times and win a little money. And back then I didn't make much money, but once I became head coach, it was more important to be in Ann Arbor and take care of business here. And frankly, I could make more money by staying in Ann Arbor.
You say make more money and stay in Ann Arbor, but it was almost the case that you weren't going to stay in Ann Arbor. Straighten this thing out once and for all.
And Frieds, if you tell us, read the book, we're going to be very upset with you.
I'm not going to discuss Texas. That was completely...
You promised me you were going to say a little in Sports Fans Journal in your last comment.
Haven't I done it yet?
No, you haven't done that yet. No, you haven't.
That was so blown out of proportion, and I think you got to get Spatafor up here. I really do.
All right, that's Jim Spatafor, the Detroit news writer who wrote the story.
He's the guy who wrote the story.
All right, we'll talk to him, but here's your chance. What happened? Tell your side of the story.
I'm not even going to discuss it.
You don't want to talk about it at all?
No, except to say that I never told anybody anything. I didn't go to the Detroit News and say I have a story for you. That was just so ridiculous, and it's just something that happened. And but I'm not going to discuss Texas because as of right now, there's nothing to benefit by telling that. I don't want to get other people involved, and I'm not going to argue with an AD from another school through the media, and I'm just not going to discuss it.
However, hold on one thing.
I love Ann Arbor. I'm going to make it clear to you people, I love Ann Arbor. I love Michigan. I'm probably going to be at Michigan another
8-10 years, hopefully, and continue to coach basketball there. And this other thing just got completely blown out of proportion, and the accounts in the paper aren't accurate.
Okay, now what about the basketball program and its relation to the athletic department there? Now, Bo Schembechler's taken over. Football's the only thing as far as he's concerned. What is he going to do for the recognition for the basketball team?
Bo's always been good to basketball. You think back, remember 1981, was it, the disastrous season? Bo sent a couple football players over during the year. He helped us recruit immensely. Bo's going to want basketball to be
as much as Don Canham?
Oh yeah, hey, basketball is making a lot of money.
Oh, sure.
We got to pay the bills, and it's just like, you know, I was accused of being concerned about being being the AD because of you know, I'm concerned about basketball and so forth. If I was the athletic director at Michigan and I was the basketball coach, if you think that I wouldn't take care of football, you have to take care of football at Michigan because you have to have 100,000 people in those stands.
And Bo's going to leave him alone, too.
And
I'm
Bo's
sure he
going to do
will.
the same thing with basketball because we're making big money, and he's going to make sure we continue to make money.
Except, what if somebody else would have taken over as athletic director?
I would have been concerned. I would have been concerned.
Would you have concerned to the point of leaving?
No, I don't think so, unless, you know, you didn't get along with the guy or something. But we have a lot of problems in athletics today. I think it was common knowledge, or there was a little knowledge. There's a little struggle going on. We've read anyway about the people on the Hill resenting Don Canham and being out there all alone and running this department the way that he wanted to run it, and so successfully. And they didn't hire Bo right away. Thankfully, they did. But we need a guy like Bo running that athletic department so that we can keep it running the way that it's been running over the past so many years so successfully.
All right, I saw Bo on, I'll say, Kelly and Company. It was a good show the other day. In fact, they had a special from Ann Arbor, and a fan asked him on the air about Frieder and Texas, and Schembechler simply laughed and said, we're not going to talk about that. The quicker we forget that, the better. I don't think Schembechler was real happy about that episode. Has he talked with you about it, and are you worried that this might affect your relationship?
No. Bo and I have talked about it a couple of times and laughed about it, really, but we've both agreed that you got to put it to rest and put it behind us.
So it's behind you now. Now, what's ahead for the Wolverines? Now you're talking about you lost a Gary Grant who could be a lottery pick, maybe not. And what's your feeling about the team for this next season?
Well, first of all, let me say something about Gary. Gary, hey, he has been a tremendous basketball player for the University of Michigan. We won 100 games in the last 4 years. His first 2 years, we won the Big Ten, and he was the defensive glue. He's got the rap, and Page has been one of them where he really played very poorly in those first two tournament games. Came back in the third year against Carolina, but then faltered again this past year, and he hurt us. If Gary would have had a decent game, we would have beaten North Carolina. And what really hurt was that they were beatable, and we didn't get it done. And had he played well, we could have gotten it done. And I think that Gary still has a chance to be a lottery pick. The Clippers are very, very interested in him. I think the fact that the Clippers have 2 picks helps them take a Gary Grant because they're going to get a Danny Manning first. So there's still that possibility. But with his performance, I think, you know, his stock dipped a little, and I think that's common knowledge. He went from a definite lottery pick in the first going into the tournament to maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 after the tournament.
Is he going to be a better NBA player than he was a college player? Even?
Well, he still has to improve in certain areas. He's going to be great in transition, but Gary still has to improve in the half-court game, the 5-on-5 half-court, and Gary's got to improve decision-making, eliminating careless turnovers and not trying to do things too quickly when it's not there. And the one thing that I think he has to improve in watching these NBA players, you see Isaiah and some of the great ones in all these tournament games, being able to take people one-on-one and score. This is the one thing Gary hasn't done in the half court. He's got to get stronger and bigger and more confident shooter to be able to do that.
And what Ronnie was asking you then about the team next year?
Well, I think we're going to have a good basketball team. We're going to miss Gary. He's been a great basketball player. But Ramiro Robinson has come on and had
really like a nice playoff.
He had a great game against Carolina. He's capable of providing us leadership and direction, and he's becoming a pretty good offensive player as well as a good defensive player.
Sean Higgins?
Sean, you know, we don't know if Sean's a guard. You know, he's a better forward right now than a guard. He played fairly well in Europe. This is why the trip was worthwhile. And
Is he out of control still? He's been playing out of control
well,
for his high
sure.
school.
You know,
even-
it's again, you know, freshmen, guys out of high school being able to do everything they want to do, getting away with it, and now having to come in and learn a system in college and play under control. But, you know, our big people should be better, Mills and Vaught and Hughes. Glenn Rice is a great basketball
Vaught fell asleep
player.
in the play.
He sure did. He was non-existent.
And unfortunately, of course, Judd just kicked your butt in terms of recruiting, so you're not going to have much incoming talent.
I'll tell you
next year,
what,
right?
Judd had a great recruiting year, and I'm happy for Judd. I'll tell you, he's got a good crop coming in, and they're going to be a pretty good
one kid's
basketball
got the
team.
knee problems, though.
Well, yeah, Peplowski,
Yes.
What's up?
and you know, that's a great family. He's a good kid, so I wish him the best of luck.
We got to
And-
get to a break. So in other words, you're taking pressure off yourself and saying Michigan's going to be a mediocre team.
No,
next
I
year,
think
right?
we're going to have a good basketball
Not
team.
going to win the Big Ten, though.
I don't know. I think Illinois will be picked as a Big Ten champion this year.
We'll continue with our annual visit on Sports View Today with Bill Frieder right after this. Lansing, Bootleggers Uptown, Ferndale, Bootleggers again, Dearborn, the Body Rock Cafe Detroit, and soon the all-new Palladium downriver. On the west side, well, it's happening 7 nights a week at Shooters in Westland. Shooters has it all. Drink specials, great DJs, and every night Shooters high-caliber live entertainment under one of the finest light shows in Metro Detroit. If you don't want to dance, there's always sports on incredible 10-foot widescreen TVs at Shooters on Ford Road, 1/2 mile east of Wayne Road in Westland.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Nick. What brings you into Maxie's?
I'm having dinner with the Dovers. There's Ben Dover, his wife Eileen Dover, and the kids.
There are more interesting people for you to meet here at Maxie's. Besides that, we have great food, superb entertainment, wonderful atmosphere. Why don't you come out and you'll discover why hundreds of people are saying, meet me at Maxie's. It's the place to be in the northern suburbs.
And there's Flipped Over, Skipped Over, their aunt from across the lake, Float Over, and from the rodeo, Buck Dover is going to be here.
Acme presents the Westerns. Boots make the man, and Acme makes the boots. For toughness. For style. For quality leather. For workmanship. The great Westerns are being made by Acme.
It's brand new, and it's soon to be the hottest seafood place in suburban Detroit. It's TK's Seafood Grotto. At TK's, you'll find the finest and most original seafood anywhere. 35 different dishes, each prepared to order with the freshest fare flown in every day. TK's also has great steaks and chops, lunch or dinner, and there's entertainment too, beginning with TK's special cocktail hour at 5 p.m. So whether it's a special evening out for 2 or groups up to 100, it's TK's Seafood Grotto, the northern suburb's most beautiful new restaurant.
We can be easily reached from anywhere in the metropolitan Detroit area.
We're back on Sports View with Michigan basketball coach Bill Frieder talking about his Wolverine team of this year and the one coming up next year. Compare the two teams, and there's no way you can have the same record as you did last year.
Well, I don't think so, because Gary
as
Grant,
good.
again, losing that type of play at that position is going to really hurt. We got some question marks at the guard. Higgins, we got other kids, Kirk Taylor and Mike Griffin and Demetrius Caleb, but they're all unproven, and in our league, that's a problem. You have to wait and see how they materialize. But I think we're going to be very competitive. As I was saying before the break, I think Illinois will be picked to win it. They're awesome with
They always
Battle
are picked
and
near the
Anderson.
top, and they've always seemed to come up with a problem.
Yeah, you know, they've had their problems in tournaments also,
Yes, they have.
as has Purdue. In fact, our record is better than theirs. We've got a winning record in the tournaments, 5-4 in the NCAA, but they're very, very good basketball team.
Lou Henson's most overrated coach in college basketball.
I don't know about that. He's done
All
a
right,
good job.
let's talk about Bobby Knight then. Have you repaired your little
Haven't
rift that
really,
you had?
no, you know,
haven't talked to him?
we've had no problems, but we really have had very little conversation.
You've had no problems?
Well, you know, recently.
No, recently he means.
Yeah.
Do you regret what happened between you and Knight?
You know, I do in a way because, you know, I'm not that type of guy to get in any problems with anybody. I get along with most people, and so that's So that hurts a little, but that's just part of it all, I guess.
Freeds, were you pulling for a night to go to New Mexico?
No, you know what? I was over in Europe when all that happened and really didn't hear that much about it. I read a little about it when I got
You had
back,
a sports section every morning. Don't say you didn't in Europe. You had the USA. You were grabbing something.
You don't get it over there as easily as you
But
think.
you still got it, didn't you?
We had 2 USA Todays in 17 days. We couldn't find it.
You mentioned earlier in the show you thought you might like to coach 7 or 8 more years. You are becoming, I think maybe the public's beginning to find out about this, one of the wealthiest businessmen in the Ann Arbor area. Tell the people some of the things you're into. I'll be tacky and ask you your approximate net worth at the moment.
IRS may be watching.
So the IRS may be
Everything,
watching.
yeah.
I mean, Freed, you own shopping centers now. You have become a very shrewd businessman.
I'm not going to get into that. You know, I got a business background. I went to Michigan and got both a bachelor's of business administration, a master's of business administration, and if you go through that school, you learn a lot of things, and our home and things like that we've invested in.
And you're independently wealthy, is what you're trying to say.
I don't know.
Are you a
about
millionaire?
that. No, I don't know.
Yes, when he says
you don't get on to a different subject.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
Freed, you don't need to coach anymore, do you? I mean, wouldn't you want to get out maybe in 2 or 3 years and go fish?
I love to coach, and I don't need to coach, no. And if I get out of coaching, I can be successful in a lot of different
Would you be allowed
areas.
back in Las Vegas if you get out of coaching?
I wouldn't go through the aggravation.
Oh,
of
you'd
that.
love every
No,
minute of it.
No, that's too much fight to win a nickel there.
We got to get to the final break, but are you going to bounce back next year in terms of recruiting? Are you going to beat Joe?
Yeah, we're going to bounce back. I wish Michigan had more big kids, because we need to get some size again. But we look to have a good recruiting year. And we didn't have a bad recruiting year last year. It wasn't a great recruiting year, but it was acceptable.
Yeah.
A 7-footer from Cleveland. He's going to be
That's
all
right.
right.
I was going to ask you about that
3-point
guy.
shooter out of Chicago. He's going to be decent. So the kid over in Grand Rapids is going to be better up the line. So it was a good recruiting year, but not great.
Any
But
help
we got
for
to
next
bounce
year on this
back
recruiting?
with a great year. It's important this year.
Any help on the recruiting for this next season, though? Are they going to step in?
Well,
and play
I don't think so. I think they're a year away or so.
We'll close it out with Michigan basketball coach Bill Frieder right after this final timeout.
Parks as Detroit opens the 88 campaign with hopes of recapturing a second straight Eastern Division crown. That's more games than you'll find telecast on any other channel. So subscribe today, because when the Tigers step to the plate, they're at home on Pass.
That was me, John Rouser, not too many years ago, as a defensive back with the Pittsburgh Steelers, after my playing career at the University of Michigan had ended. Now I'm proud to be co-owner of The Sting, Detroit's most dynamic nightclub. We've got continuous live DJs, continuous videos, and live entertainment every weekend. But you don't have to disco. The Sting is also a great after-work place to meet other professional people who frequent our lounge. So stop in and see us at The Sting. We're in the old Playboy Club, the lodge at Greenfield, with plenty of lighted, secured parking.
Thermo Window, the Midwest's exclusive manufacturer of the new Polytex 4 vinyl replacement window, is celebrating their anniversary with an unbelievable 5-day offer. This week only, buy 5 windows for $995. Our thermo-insulated tilt-in windows are specially designed to make cleaning a snap. Call now and receive a coupon for a free energy-saving storm door. At Thermo Window, we manufacture, install, service, and guarantee what we sell. Buy factory direct. 5 windows, only $995. Call today and save.
There are a lot of bars in Metro Detroit with motif and themes, but here at Frankie's we have developed one that's totally unique. You see, Frankie's is where Red Wings fans come to party, during the season and all year round. Why? Because Frankie's is the place to spot your favorite Red Wing player in person. And check out the Wall of Fame, one of the finest selections of signed jerseys you'll find anywhere. There's great food, drink specials, and we're open 7 nights a week. So whether you're in the Dearborn area or just looking for some place to talk hockey, remember it's Frankie's in Dearborn.
apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Ron Cameron and Bill Frieder have eaten up all my time on this program. We're out of
Your
time.
time.
We couldn't
You
get them to
shouldn't be
shut
on
up
the
the whole
show.
show, for goodness sake. We want to thank
the team next year.
Georgetown is the
but
team
not
next year.
Michigan. We want to thank our sponsors, Pete and John Giannopoulos, and the folks at Giannopoulos on the Grill. We had the Chester Boot Shop, Dennis Krieger, and the guys at Frankie's, Pass, TK Seafood Grotto, Zim's Entertainment Center, Sports Fans Journal, Shooters, and our prime sponsor on Sports Feed today, Al Dietrich Olsenville. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, everybody.